I had this idea of mashing fiery hot Cheetos and putting them in a waffle and then sending out like this fire hot Cheeto waffle. And it was horrible. It was so bad. Like the Cheetos were soggy and it was disgusting. And so for every good recipe we have out there, we've done about 10 really bad ones.
From northern Colorado, right here between the rolling plains and the Rocky Mountains, this is the Greeley Business Beat, your go-to series for conversations with local businesses and the incredible humans behind the scenes that make Greeley, well, great. Join us as we dive into stories of the people and places that make up the very fabric of our community. Whether you're Greeley born and raised or just passing through, we promise to pull back the curtains on some of our favorite community gems and introduce you to the neighbors who make this place special.
Hi, I'm Robert Steinberg, your host today for the Greeley Business Beat. We're calling all fabulous foodies and whiskey warriors. For today's Greeley Business Beat, we're exploring a place that perfectly marries two of life's greatest pleasures: fluffy, golden waffles that make your taste buds do a happy dance, paired with a whiskey selection so fine it could make a grown man weep tears of joy. And yes, you heard that right. I'm talking about none other than Oak and Maple Whiskey and Waffle Company. Now I know what you're thinking, whiskey for breakfast? Well, why not? At Oak and Maple, they believe in starting your day with a bang. Or should I say, a swig? Whether you're a morning person or a night owl, owner Matt Estrin has got you covered at Oak and Maple. Welcome, Matt, to the Greeley Business Beat.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your business, Matt.
So my name is Matt Estrin, and I have been a Greeley resident for 15 years now. An interesting piece about me is that Greeley actually won me over. When I moved here 15 years ago, I did not want to move here. I lived in big cities my whole life. Southern California, Jacksonville, Florida, Denver. And so when we came to Greeley, I was pretty bummed out to be leaving a big city and moving to this city. And over the course of the last 15 years, I've absolutely fallen in love with the city of Greeley. My wife and I have two kids that we're happily raising here. And since then, we've decided to really plant our roots in this city by starting multiple different businesses. The latest for me is Oak and Maple Waffles and Whiskey in downtown Greeley, which has been a pretty fun adventure for us.
So let's dive a little bit more into that, though, because before you moved to Greeley, you were living in all these big cities. What were you doing? And why is it that you were, quote unquote, forced to move to Greeley?
I wasn't forced. I took a job, but I've lived several different lives in my 42 years of life. In my previous job, I was actually a worship pastor at several different churches from Jacksonville, Florida to Denver. And then I did an 8-year stint here in Greeley. And I loved it. I loved what I did, but I had an entrepreneurial bug. And so after 8 years at a church in Greeley, I decided to move into the business world and started my first business, which was 477 Distilling, originally Tower 56 Distilling, and since have opened several more since leaving. And yeah, most people are shocked when they find out that I was a full-time pastor and then became a full-time alcohol maker and now a restaurateur, but it's the life I live.
I mean, my experience is the two go hand in hand pretty well.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of pastor were you exactly?
So I was a music pastor. I did a lot of, if you go to church on a Sunday, there's usually, 4 or 5 songs that get played. I was in charge of that, but it included, all sorts of lighting and tech and all the random stuff that was there. So my title didn't match what I did, but mostly on the music tech part of the biz.
So you're a music pastor, you're living in Greeley, Colorado, and then all of a sudden one day you just decide, you know what, I'm going to start trying to blow up my garage. Like, what happened? How did you start making whiskey?
So it was a hobby of mine. I had started distilling in my garage. And when I opened my first business, 477 Distilling, I opened that with the idea that I was really passionate about distilling. I wanted to be the guy that was, hucking the grains and mashing and fermenting and doing all the cool things. And what I realized about 6 months into that business was what I was really passionate about was business. And I really enjoyed developing something new. I really enjoyed bringing something new to the city that I've fallen in love with. And so pretty quickly after starting 477, I realized that's not going to be my last business. So started the Greeley Hatchet House. I started a bar out in Fort Morgan. And then most recently, what I'm super excited to talk about is Oak and Maple, our brand new restaurant in downtown.
Yeah. Well, Oak and Maple, I mean, it's kind of a spinoff, we'll call it, of 477, right? Tell us about, what does it feature? Like, what are some of the things that are involved in Oak and Maple. Why is it so different than 477? I mean, there's whiskey at both.
Sure, there is whiskey in both. And I definitely can't open a business that doesn't involve some form of alcohol. And so that's definitely the staple, the thing that brought us there. But for a long time, I've really felt a push to get into the food business. I really enjoy the hospitality industry. I love what I'm doing at 477 and being able to distribute my products around the state and other states. I love the fact that we can do that piece of the business. But what I've really fallen in love with is the hospitality piece of it, having a place where people can come, can sit down and can enjoy a beverage, can engage with their friends, can engage with the staff. And so for me, for Oak and Maple, I really felt like I wanted to take it to the next level and dive into the food world, which I've never done before. And it has been an incredible learning curve for me. And so as I was dreaming about, what type of a food business I could get into, I'm a big family guy. I've got 2 daughters and they're the light of my life. And my wife and I, we have a really tight family unit, the 4 of us. And so as I was thinking about something that could represent my family unit and my kids and my wife and what you experience in our home, Oak and Maple is that perfect representation. So every single morning, my youngest daughter, Riley, she starts her morning with a waffle that has Nutella and strawberries on it. And that is every day in our house, waffle, Nutella, strawberries. And just about every night, the evening ends with my wife and I sitting down, and usually I'm enjoying a glass of whiskey. And so this Oak and Maple, this waffles and whiskey, which seems so different from each other, to me in my house, it's like it represents a very typical day in the Estrin household. And so it was a really fun concept that I thought, man, we could do something really cool with this. Waffles, you can do really fun, unique things, everything from sweet to savory. And then, of course, bring my passion for whiskey into Greeley. As much as I love 477 and being able to develop my own whiskey and flavored spirits, I also am a huge whiskey collector myself. I have over 300 bottles at home. And so I was pretty excited to be able to venture into a business where I could bring that passion too, of not just 477, but all the really cool whiskeys and spirits that are out there around the country, around the world, that I could bring into Greeley and have a go-to spot for people to get really good bourbons and scotches and rye whiskeys and all that type of stuff. And so that's the long version of a short story of how this project came to be.
Hey, well, this is a podcast, so we're always looking for the long version.
That's right. Yeah.
So if you're serving whiskey and waffle in the morning and you're serving whiskey and waffle at night, do you have any type of area where people can just lay down and take naps during the day or anything along those lines?
We have couches, sure. Or just take up the floor. I don't care. As long as you're spending money, you can do whatever you want in my space.
Fair enough. So looking back, what were some of the biggest challenges in getting this business started, finding a location where you felt like it was going to work?
Yeah, so the space that we're in, the space found us more than I found the space. My commercial realtor called me one day and said, hey, there's this great space that is opened in downtown Greeley. I don't know why I thought of you, but I thought, Matt's always got some funky concept that he could come up with. And so he said, you want to come check out this space? And okay, I had no plans of moving into it, but I thought, why not? It's always fun to look at something new. And so went and checked it out, and I thought, this is awesome. Like, this space is really, really cool. And for me, my ultimate litmus test has always been my wife. There's been many times where I've wanted to start a new business, try something new in a new space, and I'll take my wife and she'll say, I just don't like this. I think it's a bad idea. And so then we don't move forward on it. She's always right, of course.
They always are.
They always are. And so I took her to this space, honestly thinking that she was going to say, that's not for us. And we walked out of there and she said, this is awesome. We should do it 100%. So it all happened very quickly, to be honest. It was like we saw the space, we engaged in negotiations. I think we signed a lease within a month. We renovated the building within 2 months, and then we were open probably 3 months after we signed the lease, and even started looking at the space, which is pretty wild.
Any fun stories about trying to maybe come up with the right recipes for waffles? I've been there myself. I had the Elvis, which is a waffle with peanut butter and bananas. I did not have any whiskey with that, so I apologize. Do you have any concepts coming up, like whiskey pairings with different types of waffles, things like that?
Yeah, I can tell you that for every good recipe that's out there, we've had some really, really bad recipes. Like, my daughters love spicy chips, like the fire hot Cheetos. You know what I'm talking about?
Takis?
Takis, all those. And so I had this idea of mashing fire hot
Takis
Cheetos.
Is not a sponsor of the show.
I had this idea of mashing fiery hot Cheetos and putting them in a waffle and then sending out like this fire hot Cheeto waffle. And so I did it, and it was horrible. It was so bad. Like the Cheetos were soggy and it was disgusting. And my kid who loves it, I made her try it. She was
So
like, this
let me
is
stop
terrible.
you there because I might have an idea for you.
Yeah.
Have you thought about, because I know you do chicken and waffles, fried chicken and waffles,
Yeah.
correct? Have you thought about maybe frying the chicken in like a hot Cheetos bread and then serving it that way?
I haven't, but I am now.
Great.
Yeah. But yeah, so for every good recipe we have out there, we've done about 10 really bad ones. And it's pretty comical.
So have you found for you a favorite waffle and whiskey pairing?
Yeah. So my favorite become our signature cocktail, really original name for our signature cocktail. It's called the Oak and Maple. That is my favorite drink, and essentially it's bourbon, 477 coffee spirit, maple syrup, and bitters. It's kind of a twist on an old fashioned. And to me, to pair that with one of our top selling items on our menu called the Riley's Breakfast, named after my daughter, it is her breakfast, which is sweet cream waffle with strawberries, Nutella, chocolate syrup, whipped cream. That combo is pretty nice at 8 a.m. or at 8 p.m.
Sounds delicious. Is there ever an opportunity for you to just kind of take a look back and think to yourself, maybe we should move in this direction? Or are you looking at that now that you've been open for a few months? Is there anything that you might look at changing in the future?
You're always looking at how you can get better. And I would say if you're a business person starting a business and that's not the mindset that you have, then you really need to move in that direction. Even 477, almost 7 years in now, we still every day are looking at how can we improve our process? How can we make it better for customers? How can we streamline how we're doing it so you get a drink in your hand faster? And we do this exact same thing at Oak and Maple. I think our general manager and I meet almost every day, and we're always talking about how could we have made the customer experience better? How could this plate look better? How could it taste better? Could we add anything to the ingredient wise? So yeah, it's a nonstop evolution of trying to become better and better every day.
So is there ever like a moment where you look back and say, wow, I really screwed up?
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, always. You will make so many mistakes opening any business. And at certain times you have to laugh. You got to laugh it off. One that really sticks out of my mind is somebody had ordered a decaf latte. And we were in the midst of just a crazy moment. Everybody was in there going nuts. We had a full room and I was the barista in that moment. So I'm making all the drinks and I hand this person their latte and everybody seems happy. She's drinking her latte. The table's good to go. They finish their drinks and get up and leave. And as she's leaving, I realized I did not make it decaf. I made it fully caffeinated. And it's like, do you tell him in that moment? No, can't tell him in that moment. So she was probably buzzing for, a few days if she's used to drinking decaf. But all sorts of moments like that, you forget to comp somebody's meal. I mean, there's so many mistakes that happen and you just got to kind of go with them and have some fun.
So how is the community through all of this? Like, the people, your support system, a group of people that you're around all the time. I've frequented a couple of your businesses many times, and it always seems like there's a pretty core group of people that are always around. Talk about that a little bit and how that makes you feel.
Yeah, I'm blessed to have a lot of support that I've gained over the years since starting 477, and I couldn't be more grateful for the people that have really made it a priority to support what I'm doing, from people that my wife works with to people that I've connected with in the business community. And so it has been so overwhelming to see the community rally around all of my businesses, but especially Oak and Maple, being a brand new business, being something that I've never done before in the food industry. And just seeing the overwhelming support that we've received has been great.
So kind of continuing on the theme of community and going back to your origin story, we'll call it here, when you moved here, you mentioned a couple times that you fell in love with Greeley and that's why you wanted to start your businesses here. What made you fall in love with Greeley?
Honestly, the people. The best way I can describe it is Greeley is a community that really wants to see Greeley thrive, and the people that live in Greeley, they really want to see businesses do well. They really want to see people live a fulfilled life. And so that experience has been something that we've seen since we've lived here, right? From being, a worship pastor at a church here in town to owning several businesses. The community really rallies around to support local business, support people. I won't name any names of specific places, but I often joke that, like, when was the last time I went to a big chain restaurant? It's been a really long time, because as a Greeley person, I want to support local Greeley businesses, people that are entrepreneurs that are trying to do it. And so that's what I've experienced on the other end of people that are like, man, we got to make sure that these businesses are thriving, that they're doing well, that the people in the community are enjoying living here. And so that's what I would say. That's one of the reasons why I just fell in love with this place, is because Greeley people are really proud of Greeley. And I'm excited to be proud of it too.
Yeah, and in a moment of serendipity, I moved here about the same time that you did. So I've been living in Greeley about 14, 15 years myself. And I've always said Greeley is a city of 140,000 people that feels like a city of 250 people.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But moving on, without giving away any of like your actual trade secrets and the things that you know, what advice would you give to somebody that is trying to start a business in Greeley?
One of the best pieces of advice that was given to me by a banker when I was starting 477 is he said, keep it small, keep it full. And that has stuck with me for a really long time. Keep it small, keep it full. Take what you're doing, make sure it's very simple. Don't try to do too much. And so with Oak and Maple, our space is small. You know, if you walk in, it's not a huge restaurant with 1,000 tables. It's a small space, and our goal is to keep it small, keep it full.
We always ask for tips and tricks that you may have, or your best advice for, maybe how to make the perfect cocktail to pair with the perfect waffle, or, maybe something along those lines. Like, what's something that maybe you do want to give to somebody trying to do it at home?
Well, it starts with 477 spirits if you want to make it perfect. Other spirits, less perfect. But no, honestly.
Best summer gin around.
Best summer gin around. Honestly, everybody's taste buds are different, and everybody likes something different. And I never want to tell anybody what they should be tasting or how they should taste it. So to make the perfect cocktail and pairing, just make what you like, have fun with it. And don't be afraid to make a mistake. I would say that too. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. I tell people all the time, whether it's 477, Oak and Maple, either of these concepts, like, for everything that you taste that's really good, we have made so many mistakes and so many bad cocktails and waffles and food pairings. And so have fun. If you mess up, you mess up. You go on to the next one.
For the record, I've never had a bad cocktail that you guys have made.
It's because we've never released the bad cocktails.
That's good to know. All right, we're going to do a rapid fire round here.
Okay.
Winter or summer?
Winter.
Coffee or tea?
Oh, coffee.
Morning bird or night owl?
Afternoon ranger.
What's your favorite place in Greeley that is not one of your own businesses?
I can't rapid fire. I love all of it. I like Greeley so much. Tight Knit Brewing.
I didn't expect that answer.
Yeah.
Huh. What's your favorite thing about Greeley?
The people.
Including me? It's fair.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming out today. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Like what you're hearing on the Greeley Business Beat? Do us a favor and share this episode. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and be sure to leave a review. We'll be rounding up more businesses and attractions each month. So sit back, tune in, and we'll keep dishing up the stories that make Greeley great. The Greeley Business Beat is a production of the City of Greeley in collaboration with 1K Creative. Greeley is one of the few spots in Colorado that combines the best of everything the state has to offer. Beautiful vistas, deep agricultural roots, easy access to the outdoors, and a vibrant and friendly community. Learn more at visitgreeley.com. Until next time, stay connected to the heart of Greeley.